Welcome back to Floss Law. Video 2 in a 10-day series, 10 days for the next 10 years to get you started in real estate investing. Today's topic is going to be establishing what type of investor you are, or analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis means when you spend so much time looking at every single deal that's out there and every single option that's out there that you can't make a move because you're spending all of your time analyzing deals and you're not doing any deals. It's very, very common with both new and experienced investors. They get stuck in a rut and you need to focus what you're doing. How we get to that point is starting out with establishing what type of investor you are. So before we get right into it, a reminder again, whatever platform you're watching this on, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. We're on all the major platforms now. Hit subscribe, add me as a friend, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow along so you can get all these updates every day as we're going along. And we're doing these 10 days because on January 11th, we're going to be at the U.S. Bank Multifamily Investor Summit at University of Chicago. So I'll put a link below. Someone was saying yesterday that the tickets are sold out, but I believe we still have some tickets. So please reach out to me if you're interested in going. We can try to get you some tickets to get you in here. I think we still have a few. All right. So figuring out what type of investor you are. So we're used to analyzing properties. A lot of times people forget that at the starting point we need to analyze ourselves and figure out what role we're going to have in real estate investing. So part of that is first figure out who you are. Now obviously this should be a pretty easy question for you to answer, but it's still important to make sure you ask this question of yourself before you get started. Are you a real estate agent? Are you a contractor? Are you an attorney? Are you someone who can get money for things, someone that knows people who want to invest, or you just know high net worth individuals? You're in that kind of sphere of influence. You could just be a really good marketer or networker. It's a lot of different things you can do where you have some sort of experience, you have some sort of knowledge base that you can pull upon. And that's what it's about. You need to figure out what you have done and figure out how you can bring that, apply that to a team model, because what we're going to get into building a team. Tomorrow's whole video is going to be on building your team. Today first is going to be about identifying who you are before you can build the team, because if you don't know what you're doing, what your role is, you can't build a team around yourself. So square one is on you. This is figuring out who you are. So once you've figured out, what your experience is, what you have that you bring to the table, now you figure out what's my knowledge base, what's my experience that I can bring to this. Do I know how to actually do the physical work at the property? Do I know how to manage the property? Do I know how to find the properties? Do I know how to finance the properties? You need to figure out where your knowledge base fits into that. And sometimes you could be coming from completely outside of real estate and still have a knowledge base where you can bring it in, where you can still help as part of the team member. Maybe you're just really good at doing SEO and marketing, where you can help scale up someone that already has an established business. There's a lot of things you can bring to the table. You just got to figure out what that is and figure out how you can use it to help, so that everyone can build together. Now, if you're starting from zero, I know some of you are watching this video and you're saying, I don't do anything with any experience that can translate over to real estate. I'm a doctor, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm an accountant can still have some, accountant can help out obviously with the books and things like that and the numbers of running the business. So that can still transfer over. You manage a supermarket. I don't know. It's something where you're thinking that, I don't really know anything about real estate, or something that would translate into a team. You could still get to that point. But if you are that person where you're starting out from basically zero, you're starting from square one, you need to devote time to learning about real estate. Maybe get in a course, hire someone to consult you to get the knowledge that you need to get to the point where you can be an investor, where you do have some knowledge base you can bring to the team. So if you're saying, Bob, I don't have anything yet, I don't have any knowledge base yet, you can get there. Just know that you're going to have to dedicate yourself to reading books, listening to podcasts, networking with people, talking to people. You can get there, but it's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to have to be a long-term commitment to get to that point. Also, as you're going along, as you're reading, as you're learning, look for opportunities to either partner or work with people so that you can see what they're doing, learn from them, and be able to copy that going forward or learn from that going forward. It might mean that your first couple of deals you don't make as much money, but you're getting that knowledge, you're getting that experience going forward. So you can get there, but obviously if you have any sort of experience in real estate in some way, or in finance or anything, you're obviously going to have a little bit of a leg up. All right, so after you get past that, be aware of, identify what your abilities are and what your limitations are. So you need to kind of make a list, and you need to have those on both sides. You're going to have, some people might say pro or con. I think for what we do in real estate, it's more beneficial to say, all right, what are my abilities? What are my limitations? Because then it helps you really figure out more as far as what you can do as being part of a team model. So do you have the ability to finance a deal, to put up money for a deal, but your limitations are you have the money for it because you have a different full-time job that takes up all of your time. So you have money, but you don't have time. So that could be one. You could have a ton of time and you have no money. So you can say, all right, I don't have the ability to purchase or finance a deal, but I'm the person that can go and do all the running around. I can look at the property. I can evaluate the property. I can check on the contractors every day. I can do that. I can provide that value of someone who has money that doesn't have time. I have no money, but I have all kinds of time, so I can help out in that way. Obviously, the contractors and people like that, they have the ability to get the project done, to actually execute like the rehab, or even if you're doing a rental property, sometimes when you're buying them aggressively, it has deferred maintenance. You still have to do work to it. The contractor go in and know exactly what needs to be done and how much it's going to cost to do it. But they, again, might be limited by funding. They might be limited by most contractors I've done work with are limited by, they spend so much time working on job sites, they don't necessarily have time to go out and look for deals. So they need someone that's actually boots on the ground, going out, and instead of focusing on the project that they're on right now, is focused on what the next project is. Because deal flow is a very big deal. You don't want to get caught in a situation where you have a project and the project's going great and you make money on the project, and that's wonderful. But it's also a different set of problems where you do this one project, the project goes great, and you sell it or do whatever you do with it, and now you're done with it. Well, now what's the next thing? And I've seen investors get kind of hung up on that, where they find one really good deal and they spend so much time focused on the one good deal, they forget, well, you have to kind of already be thinking about what's the next deal, what's the next thing you're going to be working on. You don't have a deal flow. And it really helps if you're going to start getting serious about real estate, you want to make this a full-time job. There needs to be flow. There needs to be not only working on present, what you're working on right now, there needs to always be what's going to be the next thing, what's going to be the next project, what's going to be the next thing that you're going to do. So you don't want to have a point where you're stopped. Being stagnant is death in real estate. You always want to be moving. You always want to keep it flowing. So it's important to get that deal flow. So people sometimes forget that it's a very key, important part of your team. So you want someone who's focused on the now, and you want someone who's focused on tomorrow, and those two things can marry together very well. So you're making a list of what are your abilities, what you can do, and then your limitations of what you can't do. And then when we work on team building tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to put together those people, those team members, so that your abilities are matched to someone else's limitations, so everything fits together almost like a puzzle. That's ideally how you want it to work together, so that you're not competing against each other. We'll get to that later. So, can you overcome your own limitations? Yes. Again, much the same way if you have a zero basis right now, zero knowledge basis right now, you can overcome those limitations by reading, networking, learning, taking courses, hiring consultants, doing that type of thing. If you have not a lot of abilities, an excessive amount of limitations, you can limit your limitations by knowledge and effort. So you can turn one of your limitations, you have to focus on which of those limitations it is, though. That's the important thing. You're not going to be able to turn all of your limitations into abilities. No one has that kind of time to do that. You just can't. It's not realistic. You're going to focus on one of the limitations that you have and determine which one you want to turn into an ability. So you take that limitation, and through knowledge of, again, reading, podcasts, getting out there and learning everything you can about that one limitation that you have, through that knowledge and through that effort, you can turn that limitation into an ability. The only caution I have for anyone going through that endeavor is, when you're going to turn a limitation into an ability, focus on one limitation. Don't try to do all of them. You can't. You're going to drive yourself crazy. That's where we get into the analysis paralysis and multiple layers here. When you try to do everything, when you try to do all of it, you don't get to any of your goals for any of those things because you've overwhelmed yourself. So focus on the one thing that you think, what abilities you do already have that maybe don't translate. Say, okay, I know this thing, but it doesn't really translate into real estate. But if I read and I learn how it applies, I could possibly turn it into an ability. Maybe you have an experience managing a restaurant or something like that, where you know about time management, you know about managing people working under you. So maybe you could translate that over into knowing how to manage a job site and manage contractors, but you don't necessarily know the difference between your knowledge base in the restaurant business versus your knowledge base in the real estate business. So you need to read and learn how to translate like terminologies and the things you know from the restaurant business over into the real estate business. That would probably be the best example I could think of right now. So something like that, where you could say, I have a basic skill, but I don't know real estate, so I need to learn about it so I can translate that skill over. So the stuff like that's possible. Just know what that one thing is. All right, so now you're trying to figure out where you fit into the whole model. You have your abilities, you have your limitations. Now what do you do with that? There's so many different things an investor can do. Now, this is the next problem. There's so many things you can do that I see people get hung up because they try to be everything for everyone all the time, and it just doesn't work. It really just doesn't work. Your sales funnel gets clogged up. Your lead generation funnel gets clogged up, and you really don't know what it is that you're doing. You don't know what services you're offering. You don't know what you're asking for. If you go into a meeting and you sit down and you're trying to ask to be 8 different things, the potential partners don't know what to do with you because they don't know what you want. So you need to figure out what you want. When you're an investor, you can be in fix and flips or rehab. So buying a building that needs to be fixed up, you put money into it, you turn around and sell it, or you refinance it and pull some of your money back out and hold it as a rental property. You could also just joint venture with people that are going to buy properties. You can finance them and they can do it, and then you're getting income from them doing that. You could buy condos, you could buy houses, you could buy townhouses, you could buy 2 to 4 unit buildings, you could buy multifamily, you could buy commercial property, you could buy strip shopping centers. You might want to get into the mobile home park game. You might want to do storage units. You might want to do maybe you want to do farms or industrial or something like that. There's a ton of different things you can do out there. There's tons of different type of properties. And then So there's a different type of investor you can be. There's a different type of property you can focus on. And then you have to figure out how you're going to find properties. Are you going to find them through, the MLS? Are you going to find them on Zillow? Are you going to find them through off-market networking? Are you just going to find them through networking in general? Are you going to find them through, personal relationships you have with people? Are you going to find them through using wholesalers or bird doggers? Are you going to use, are you going to look for probate properties, contacting probate attorneys? Are you going to look for properties that are in bankruptcy? Are you going to look for properties that are in foreclosure, going to auction.com, going to judicial sales, doing that type of thing, bidding a sheriff sales? Maybe you want to do non-performing notes. You want to do any of those things. That's a lot. And most investors only focus maybe on one or two of those areas. So figure out what of all those things I just rattled off that you're interested in, and then try to whittle that down. One of the biggest areas of analysis paralysis that I see, and again, analysis paralysis means you're trying to consider too many different options and you can't focus in, and it's preventing you from actually executing and doing a deal. So if you're going to do probate, maybe you could do probate and also do bankruptcy or something like that, but you're not going to do off-market networking and do probate of multifamily and then do bankruptcy for houses and then do, I want a JV on storage unit deals. If you wanted to do all that, you would need 5-6 full-time employees doing that for you. You yourself are not going to be able to do all that. You can't. If you're going to do auctions are like a full-time job. If you're going to do auction, I love auction properties. One of my biggest videos on here is from how to buy properties on auction.com. I love doing it. That's like a full-time job. If you're doing the auction thing, if you're looking at judicial or sheriff's auctions, forget doing probate or anything else. You're not going to have any time. It's a full-time job by itself. If you're going to do tax liens are like a full-time job by themselves. You can't do all of these things all the time. You can drive yourself insane. And what happens is you get fatigued. And when you get fatigued, you either walk away and go, oh, real estate isn't really for me, or real estate doesn't work, or I can't find good deals, or you blame the market, or you blame other conditions, or you blame other people, and you end up not doing anything. And the reality is there's always stuff out there. There's always leads out there. There's always opportunities that are out there. You have to find them. And if you are trying to consider too many things and too many avenues and too many deals, you're going to not be able to isolate them. You're not going to be able to locate them and see those individual little opportunities that are out there for you, because you're going to have so much overwhelming opportunities to look at. You're not going to be able to find those good deals in there. All you're going to see is the bad deals. So we want to focus in. We don't want analysis paralysis. I want you to focus in on the type of investor you want to be. But part of being the type of investor you want to be is what type of properties do you want to specialize in? And not to say if you do multifamily, you can't do a house or a condo flip here or there or something like that. But you can't be focusing on all those things at the same time. But more importantly, focus in on those different avenues of how you're going to find your deals. It'll make, you're going to consider less properties, but it will make isolating and picking an actionable deal that you can do much easier, much easier. And what we want everyone to do is actually get out there and start investing, not spend all their time looking at emails and looking at properties. You want to actually look at a property that has either you or your JV or your LLC's name on it that you're doing, and then working on the next one, not just talking about it. We want to get you guys investing in real estate. All right. Now you've figured out who you are. Now that we've taken all that, your abilities, your limitations, how you're going to find your deals, now you're going to figure out who you are and what team member you are. So are you the team member who is the contractor? That's pretty easy to figure out. Are you the contractor? Are you the person who maybe is going to manage the contractor, or will communicate with the contractor? Because the contractor a lot of times is limited to being at the property. A lot of times they need someone to help them as far as running back and forth or communication or things like that. You can have the contractor do that, be the GC, whatever you want to call them, project management, different people have different names for it. You can have them do it. Just know that that's a lot of responsibility to give to them. And you need to trust that person if you're going to let them just 100% handle all that stuff. All right. Are you going to be the person who is the deal finder? Do you feel that you have the skill set to be the team member that, okay, I'm going to be the person that's going to bring the deal to the table, which is a very important member of a team. Don't discount that. Sometimes the people who do that kind of get a bad rap a little bit. Remember what I said, deal flow is very important, and having a valued member of your team who is consistently out there that's providing those deals, that are putting those deals on the table so that you could just keep streamlining your process is very important. And also providing deals, putting deals on the table that are good deals that everyone can make profit on, and the contractors can do a good amount of work, don't get stuck on a project that needs too much work, that everyone can make money together on. That's an important part of the process. Are you the person who's just going to put up the money? Are you just the money person? And you're saying, well, I have money and I like real estate. Don't necessarily have a ton of time though. Maybe you just, instead of you wanting to invest in real estate, maybe you really need to take a step back and say, I want exposure to real estate. I want to be around real estate. I want to learn about real estate, but I don't necessarily need to be the person sitting at the property every day. So maybe I need to find people who can do that. And my role of who I am is the person who's going to provide the money, provide all of the background, the basis for this, the accounting, doing all that kind of stuff, the paperwork, the backbone of the real estate fund. Let everyone else do the boots on the ground, lifting the hammer stuff. I'm just going to be the person who provides and let all the other people do the work part of it. Again, obviously that's a hugely important person. If you're going to do that, just remember that when you're going to have other people do that, make sure they're being fairly compensated so that there's no hard feelings. Sometimes people kind of discount the money person a little bit, like, well, they already have money, so it's not important, if they either make a profit or they get their money back. So you want to make sure you're protected. We could put together, we put together all the time investor packages so that you're protected on the property, but also want to make sure your partners are making money too. Otherwise, why are you all doing it? So are you the deal finder? Are you the person who provides the money? Are you the funder yourself? Are you the contractor? Are you the person closing the deals? There's all different roles you can fit. So now you know who you are. So that you'll hear people talk about doing your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is you should be able to say in 10 seconds who you are, what you do, and what services you offer. So now that you've done all of this, when you see someone, when you're networking, you're doing whatever, hey, who are you? Hi, my name is Steve. I'm a funder. I'm looking to do JV on real estate. Hi, I'm Paul. I'm an agent who finds deals for investors. I personally want to buy an investment. I want to do XYZ. I'm looking for probate properties. I'm looking for 2 flats that I could do fix and flips that I can hold, or just knowing who you are, so that when you see someone, they don't not only know what you're about, now they know how they can help you. Because if you can't give someone that succinct pitch as far as who you are, what services you offer, what you're about in real estate, then they don't know how to help you. Because a lot of this is networking. And if I meet you at a real estate conference or something, and I don't know what you're about, you rattle off 10 different things that you're doing, well, now I don't really know how to refer things to you. I don't know how to incorporate you in my sphere. I don't know what you do. So if you try to attack everything, people don't know how to start doing business with you because I don't know really what kind of business you're doing. And frankly, if I think you're doing 10, if you're telling me you're doing 10 different things, I think you're probably not very good at most of them, because otherwise you wouldn't be doing 10 different things. So figure out what you are, who you are, what services you're offering, what you're doing, and then everyone else can figure out how to maybe bring you in on their team. Go, hey, I kind of like this guy. He does exactly what our limitations are, so now we can bring this person in, and they can be part of our team. And then you'll find yourself growing a lot faster, because now you're networking and you're doing team building. We're gonna do the team building tomorrow. That's episode 3 for the 10-day series. But for now, let's focus on spend the next day making that list out, figuring out who you are, what you want to do, what your focus is going to be on, so that you can clearly communicate that to other people. If you're in the comments in this video, go in there. I want you to go in the comments of this video, whatever platform you're on, and I want you to give me your elevator pitch of who you are on a team. Tell me, hi, my name is, and what role you serve on a real estate team. I want you to tell me that right below. And then, so that everyone can see, so that you have the opportunity to network within the comments themselves. I want you to give me your 10-second elevator pitch in the comments of this video of who you are and what your role is on a real estate investment team. Good practice for you. It's excellent. Once we figure out what you fill in that team model, now we can fill in the gaps, and you're able to succeed in real estate. Because if I've learned anything over the years, if you try to go this by yourself, you will have a little bit of success, but you're going to have a lot of failure. If you build a successful team, a successful network, you can put together a group of people with one vision and one goal in real estate, and you're all helping each other and you're filling in the gaps of your limitations. You will have so much more success, and you will have much less frustrations, because you'll have other people helping you out along the way. You can kind of lean on each other. Sometimes it's really helpful just to have people to talk to too. Sometimes there's really frustrating days where you just need other people to talk to you about what's going on, so that you can all kind of support each other too. It's a huge emotional aspect to real estate. We deal with a lot of negative energy. We deal with a lot of rejection in real estate, deals that we don't get, deals that don't go through, things that go wrong. So part of the team building as well is having a support system, so that you can all keep each other positive, moving in the right direction, and helping each other out. Don't discount that as well. It's all of it's important. All of it works together. All of it will make you much more successful in real estate. Just going through to make sure I hit everything. That's it. So tomorrow is talking about team building, so that you don't build a bad team or don't build a toxic team. Toxic team where you have multiple people really trying to fulfill the same function. Anytime you deal with that, you're generally going to end up with a team where it's going to fall apart. So you don't want competition with your team. You want it, again, remember, think of that puzzle. You want all to fit together like a nice little puzzle. That's it for today. Hope everyone's doing great with the new year. You're setting your new goals for 2020, and I'll talk to you soon.